Tales of the Accidental City is a feature-length film, quite experimental in form because it looks like it's an anger management class taking place on Zoom.
So tell me, where are you connecting from today?
I'm here in Nairobi. Actually, I'm in Kawangware.
Just a minute, there is somebody else here joining. Good morning.
Yes, morning. I'm Njoroge, Louis Njoroge.
And the story is about 4 characters, all resident of Nairobi, who basically are thrown into this Zoom therapy session because they have committed some kind of violent act, and the courts have sent them there. And when they get there, they're met with their quirky counselor, who's called Counselor Rose.
Have you guys heard of meditation? Huh? It's free. Yeah, and you can do it anywhere.
I thought it would be important for these kinds of characters to have a conversation, particularly in the kind of Nairobi that we live in. We've created ghettos around where we live. It's a very stratified society. I would say it's like an apartheid society.
The man made mistakes.
Mistakes! Mistakes! Ebu Sara, tell this man what would happen if you made the mistake of stealing 1 loaf of bread from Naivas supermarket. Would you be still living in a mansion like his?
I do not live in a mansion. And as you can see, I live in a cottage.
Jacinda is a feisty character. She is a woman who is, when you meet her, she's undergoing grief. She has really been through it all, and so by the time she lands herself in the anger management class, she has a lot of bitterness in her, and I think I delivered that character well.
For the first time, if I'm not wrong, we'll be able to see what actually an anger management class is all about. Therapy is something that we all fear. We all fear mental health conversations. We all fear talking about our wellness. But this is a story and a film that will help many people understand that mental health is a very important part of this conversation in our society.
Part of me wanted to keep her. But how? How could I look at her face every day and know that I'd never be able to give her a life better than my own?
She is the youngest character. She's the most silent character. She's the voice of people we seldom listen to or give a space to speak. And it was really important for me that she should end the film.
My hope for this film is that it will trigger people in all the right ways, and that it will spark dialogue and create conversations about critical issues that we need to engage in before the next election, which I believe has the potential to be a turning point in our country's history.
In discussion with the cast and with some script advisors, we thought, what would an anger management class look like during this time of Corona? And someone said, well, it would probably take place on Zoom. And ding, straight away, you know, I was like, absolutely, that's it. We're going to make it look like it's an anger management class on Zoom.
It was very interesting and nice just shooting this film, especially coming from a film background. The way I'm used to doing things, this was different because I had to have the camera framed at one point. I had to have everything in focus. So I had to do away and shed away the things I know from my usual filming where I want, you know, deep focus. I want a cinematic look. I would want to go for a bit of a shadow here, a shadow there. But for this one, since it's a Zoom call, I had to stay true to that template and get the look and feel of the film.
So my biggest challenge, and probably what I had the most fun with on this project, was taking all these different elements and marrying them together to craft this illusion, this chronological event that takes you on a journey. And there were so many challenges, and for me, it's my absolute joy when I have to stay on my toes and when I have to come up with creative solutions. because I feel sharpened and I grow, and that's such an important value for me in anything I undertake.
I actually loved working with this medium where, you know, we were trying to simulate a Zoom call, because literally all the actors were there with the camera right in front of their faces, and they had to learn how to, you know, pretend that it was their computer or their phone. And so we had to also pay a lot of attention to their direct background. The other thing that was really interesting, of course, was how do you then make it dynamic for an audience, because they're looking at people who are essentially static. So we brought in a few elements, and for me it was important also because those are more theatrical elements, and I didn't want to lose the essence that this was originally a stage play that became a film. So for example, there's a point during the anger management class when Councillor Rose asks them all to go on a break, and they all leave their cameras on. So we see what's happening behind the scenes. We get to see their lives in a bit more detail.
It was really nice, you know, we really got a vibe between the actors and the cast, and then once we got to the stage where we were recording, it was really smooth, because the crew that we had, I remember like our main videographer, he was called Kiwo, and he came up with this whole concept thing that I had to use, because I was like using my phone to look like it was like I was taking a Zoom call by the phone, but no, it wasn't a phone, it was like a camera, like a, you know, a really good quality camera. So we had this like device thing that I had to hold like this, and it was really creative.
I loved watching this film. I never thought that in this pandemic I would want to watch a film about a Zoom meeting, because I'm in a Zoom meeting every day, but this one was worth it. I loved how all of the actors represented this cross-section of Kenyan society in different backgrounds. All of their stories, what brought them to that anger management class, seemed like a headline I read in the newspaper. And sometimes it's so easy to dismiss people when they slap their husbands or slap somebody who did something to them. But this actually gave us a chance to think about the people behind those headlines and behind those stories, and empathize with them, and it was very moving in that way. And I feel like in Kenya we don't often get a chance to talk about anger or be angry. So the fact that Maimuna was able to create that space was great, and obviously the actual filmmaking that was done, the quality of it was great, and so I had a really good time.
I really loved that the stories were local, and we really need local stories and local content. So good work, Positively African.
I'm really inspired. I love Maimuna's work. I love her devotion to trying new things. It's an important statement on our society. It's an important statement on how to adjust and how, as a film industry, we can create new material from adversity.